United Airlines is making record profits. Is this expected to continue, and how does United stack up against Delta, American, and other international carriers?
So there are a couple different facets to that particular question, and I think it's worth reiterating or starting off by saying, why is this a good deal right now? First of all, as we've heard, this deal, this TA, delivers substantial value to the flight attendants, roughly $16,000 on average per person per year. That is an exceptional amount. The vast majority of that value comes in the form of cash. That's not an accident. That's by design. And so, this deal really is industry leading in all respects. It's better than the deal at American. It's better than comparable deals elsewhere in the industry. Now, the second part of this is not just why is this a good deal, but why is this a good deal right now? Okay, it's true. It is actually true that United Airlines is doing exceptionally well right now. All right, in 2014 and 2015 combined, the company generated over $7 billion in operating profit. Okay, the 2015 operating margin was about 14%. And to put this in context for you, this is a number that has never been achieved in the past. Certainly the volume of money that's been generated in operating profit, that $7 billion I mentioned, that hasn't been generated cumulatively since 1990 by the combination of these two companies. So this is an extremely unusual time that we're in. And you got to ask, why are we in this particular time right now? What's going on? And there's a couple different reasons for that, and it weighs on the answer to the question. And one of the answers is, look, we've had consolidation in the industry, and so there's been a lot of ability to shrink systems and constrain the amount of capacity and bring up prices. The second factor is that fuel prices have been a lot lower in the last few years. And the third factor, which is really important, is that the economy in the United States is now in its 7th year of sequential growth. This is really unusual, and all three of these things may not persist indefinitely into the future. So the risks that we're looking at into the next year, 2 years, is that fuel prices are more than likely going to come up. We've already seen that fuel prices have started to come up. We've also started to see that airlines have started to exercise less capacity discipline in the last year or so than they have in the past. That means more empty seats on flights, for instance. That's one way that you would recognize that. And then finally, in the wider economy, we're seeing that the economy is starting to soften substantially. And in fact, if you had to look at pretty much all of the metrics and tea leaves out there to evaluate how the economy is doing now and how it's going to potentially do in the next year or so, you'd find that almost all of those signals are pointing to a softening in the economy. And why does that matter? Well, the short answer is that everything that United can do as a company and with respect to any potential tentative agreement is closely tied to how well the economy does in the United States. So if the economy softens, then United Airlines isn't in as good a position as it was in the past. And so where does that take us? Well, I think the key thing is that right now we've had 14% operating margins in the last year, basically. Historical operating margins are closer to somewhere between 2 and 6%. So if we even just revert to that historical average, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if we were to revert to that historical performance, the company would potentially not be in the same position in terms of affording the sorts of contract increases that are currently on the table for this TA. So to sort of wrap that all together, the conclusion that I get to after having assessed the merits of this contract is that if you do this deal now, it's at a point in time where it may not be repeated, potentially not be repeated, if another TA comes along in the future. So this is a good time to get a deal done and conclude it.